السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك ودخل معهما تحت الكساء اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب فقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله فقلت عليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي ابن أم رسول الله فقلت نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء فأقبل علي والكساء فقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذن لي نكون معكم تحت الكساء قال له عليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسيم خليفتي وصاحب اللواء قد أذنت لك فدخل علي تحت الكساء اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ثم أتيتنا والكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا فتاه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي نكون معكم تحت الكساء قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بزعتي قد أذنت لك فدخلت تحت الكساء فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ برسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومي بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم أنار كل من حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عداهم ومحب لمن عبهم منا ومني وأنا منهم فجل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا ضمتية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء اللهم صل على محمد وآله فقال لم جبرائيل يا رب من تحت الكساء فقال عز وجل ولبت النبوة وعدم الرسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد فقال جبرائيل يا رب تأذن لي أن أبتلي الذين يكون معهم سادسا فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك فبدل من جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله العلي الأعلى يقرأك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا ضمتية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله فقال رسول الله عليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه قد أذنت لك فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء اللهم صل على محمد فقال الذي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أقبلني مع الجلوس ذات الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبي واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا فيما في الأرض وفي جمع من شيتنا ويبدينا إلا ونزلت لهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. اللهم صل على محمد. فقال علي نظام الله فزنا وفاز شيتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي الثاني يا لي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا بما في الأرض وفي جمع من شيتنا ويبدينا ففيهم مأموم الله وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي نظم الله فوزنا وسعيدنا وكذلك شيتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك بحق محمد أنت المحمود بحق علم أنت الأعلى وبحق فاطمة أنت فاطر السماوات والأرض وبحق الحسن وأنت المحسن وبحق الحسين وأنت قديم الإحسان وبحق الأئمة التسعة الطاهرين من ذرية الحسين عليهم السلام. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. فاتحة.
خاندان زهرا بیگم علیه السلام. खाबो मेरा मातमे शबीर है हुर का सर है शबीर है आपने जो ख्वाब देखा था आपने जो ख्वाब देखा था करबला से ख्वाब की ताबीर है हुर का सर है ज़ानुए शबीर है हुर का सर है ज़ानुए शबीर है एक अली के गले में रीसमा एक अली के थी गले में रीसमा एक जंजीर है हुर का सर है ज़ानुए शबीर है हुर का सर है ज़ानुए शबीर है
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद बानो सिदम बदम ये सकीना का था बयां कैसा मकान है क्या बात तक नहीं कैसा मकान है क्या बात नहीं देखूंगी किस तरह से भला शक्ल आसमां है जमीन तक नजर आती नहीं है जमीन तक नजर आती नहीं और मौसमों की जान खुदा ही बचाएगा शब को भी क्या चराग जलाया शब को भी क्या चराग जला ऐसी ही तीरगी है तो बस हो चुकी है यार मैं जानती हूँ आज की शब को शबे वफार सोते थे लेके सीने पर बाबा तमाम रात आदत मेरी बिगाड़ गए आदत मेरी बिगाड़ गए जब शमा हुई है तो घबरा के रोई हो अम्मा बना कभी मैं तेरे में सोई हो अम्मा बना कभी मैं तेरे में सोई अम्मा बना कभी मैं तेरे में सोई हो माँ बेटी बेटी में यहाँ थी गम के दास्तान, आई पहर के बजने की आवाज नागहां, होशियार भाइयों ये पुकारे निगाहबान, भागे असीर तो न बचेगी किसी की जान, भागे असीर तो न बचेगी किसी की जान। तड़पे दिल और हब्स जो दे चांद हो गया, जिंदा कदम लहर की तरह बंद हो गया, जिंदा कदम लहर की तरह बंद हो गया। सोई थी कोई दम के बदासों का तार, अरे देखा ये ख्वाब आए हैं सुल्तानी नामदार, फैलाए हाथ ढूंढती उठती वो दिल फिगार, चुप चुप के देखती थी हर एक बार, चुप चुप के देखती थी हर एक बार, करती थी है नजर बाबा किधर करे मुझे सोचता नहीं, बाबा किधर करे मुझे सोचता नहीं। खुश खुश खड़ी हुई थी सकीना लगाया, इतने में वहाँ हुआ जो डराई गुनों की बात, फैली जियाए हुस्ने शहंशाह हर्षनाथ, रोशन हुआ मकान जो मुद्दत दाऊदा, रोशन हुआ मकान जो मुद्दत दाऊदा, दौरे हरम हुसैन की तस्लीम में सज्जाद उठे हुए ताज़ीम के लिए, सज्जाद उठे हुए ताज़ीम के लिए, सज्जाद उठे हुए ताज़ीम के लिए। बैठी जमीन पर लेके सकीना सरे इमाम, मूरत के मुंह पर खूब किया उसके कलाम, गश आ गया के लाई खजा मौत का पयाम, लिपटी सरे पिदर से खींची लिपटी सरे पिदर से खींची खामों पे मुंह के से नक्शा बना, हिचकी बसे का ईमान दम निकल गया, हिचकी बसे का ईमान दम निकल गया, हिचकी बसे का ईमान दम निकल गया।
फातिहा। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الأسباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام. ثم الصلاة والسلام وتحية والإكرام على سلطان الخلائق أجمعين وسيد الأولين والآخرين وخاتم النبيين وشفيع المظلمين ورحمة للعالمين ورسول المسدد والمصطفى الأحمد أبي القاسم محمد. وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين المنتخبين الميامين الهادين المهديين الذين أظهر الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد ولا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين. روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مختمه فدا. ولعنة الله على أعدائهم وغاث بحقوقهم ومنكر فضائلهم ومناقبهم وولايتهم أجمعين من الآن إلى يوم الدين. القول مني في جميع الأشياء قول آل محمد عليهم الصلاة والسلام فيما سروا وما أعلنوا فيما بلغني عنهم وما لم يبلغني. أما بعد فقد قال الله عز وجل وقل الحمد لله وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. صلوات محمد اللهم صل على محمد. For the acceptance of this Majlis and for the increment in spirituality, another salawat with the loudest voices on Muhammad. The topic of our discussion for this year is Ziyaratul Jami'ah. And yesterday I tried to provide an introduction to the concept of ziyarat. Why at all should we perform the ziyarat of a ma'soom, and why a ziyarat of a ma'soom is necessary. And we narrated before you, we discussed on the hadith of a ma'soom alayhi salam mentioned in the famous book Kamil al-Ziyarat, that each and every imam has a covenant on the necks of his Shia. And the best way and the most perfect manner to fulfill that covenant, to fulfill that pledge, is through the ziyarat of that imam. And now try understanding the fact that if a single ziyarat of a single imam helps us to fulfill that covenant, then what would be the status of a ziyarat which is a comprehensive ziyarat for all the imams. And hence we come to the conclusion that Ziyaratul Jami'ah is one of the most important ziyarat that we have in the Shiite literature. Undoubtedly one of the most important ziyarat. And this ziyarat becomes more significant in the modern times, in today's time. Why? Because we see people have difference of opinions, people debating about the issues relating to the Ahlul Bayt. If we could have understood the meanings of this ziyarat, the meanings of Ziyaratul Jami'ah, we would not discuss and we would not doubt the authenticity of the fadail of the Ahlul Bayt. Remember that each and every institution has a code of conduct. Each and every company has a code of conduct. Each and every institution has a code of conduct. And the code of conduct of the realm of ma'rifat of Ahlul Bayt is Ziyaratul Jami'ah. No one, and when I say no one, then it means no one. No one can attain any significant position in the realm of ma'rifat of Ahlul Bayt without passing through Ziyaratul Jami'ah. without passing through Ziyaratul Jamia. And why? What is the reason? Because Ziyaratul Jamia is based upon two important aspects. Ziyaratul Jamia is based upon two major principles. The first principle of the ziyarat is Tawheed, and the second principle of the ziyarat is Wilayat. If we try and understand the meanings of the ziyarat, then both are beliefs. The belief in Tawheed as well as the belief in Wilayat would strengthen through Ziyaratul Jamia. And today we'll be starting our discussion with the text of the ziyarat. Yesterday it was an introduction, and today we'll be starting our discussion of the text of the ziyarat, the nas of the ziyarat. As mentioned yesterday, that a narrator comes in the presence of our 10th Imam, Imam Ali ibn Muhammad al-Taqi al-Adi. The narrator comes in the presence of the Imam and asks the Imam, and the question itself is very important. The question is very important. If we have to analyze the importance of the ziyarat, of this ziyarat, then the discussion would start with the question. What was the question? What was the narrator asking the Imam? The narrator says to Imam Hadi alayhi salam, he says to our 10th Imam, Allamani yabna Rasulullah. Teach me, O the son of Rasulullah. Allahu Akbar. Teach me, O the son of Rasulullah. Qawlun, a saying. What kind of a saying? Kamilan balighan, a saying which is most perfect and a saying which is most eloquent. Why do I need this saying? Idha dhurtu wahidun lakum, when I visit any one of you. Teach me a saying, a qawl which is kamil and which is baligh, which is perfect and which is eloquent. What is a qawl? What is the saying? A qawl itself is a combination of alphabets and a combination of words which have a meaning. Qawl itself is a meaningful sentence. Qawl itself is a meaningful sentence. Leave aside that when the narrator is saying, teach me a qawl which is kamil and baligh, which is perfect and most eloquent, which is baligh, who has been asked regarding the qawl which is baligh, who is the successor of Saheb Nahjul Balagha, who is the successor of Saheb Nahjul Balagha. Try and read Nahjul Balagha and then try reading Ziyaratul Jamia. You would understand the importance of the ziyarat. The ziyarat, the words would match, and the arrangements of the words would match. You will find a relationship between Nahjul Balagha and Ziyaratul Jamia. When he asks him, teach me, Allamani yabna Rasulullah, a very important point. He could have formulated a ziyarah of his own. He could have made it like we do when we sometimes when we recite a ziyarah of a masoom, we add on our sentences from our end, from our side. He could have also formulated a ziyarah of his own, but he did not make a ziyarah of his own. He did not formulate a ziyarah of his own. What did he do? He came to the presence of the Imam of his time, and then he said, Allamani yabna Rasulullah, teach me, O the son of Rasulullah. Whom else should I go to? Whom else should I ask you? Whom else should I ask to? You are the son of Rasulullah. I do not need to go here and there when you are present. I will ask you. And this was a practical explanation of what Amir al-Mu'mineen said to Kumail ibn Ziyad al-Nakhai. Amir al-Mu'mineen said to Kumail, Ya Kumail, la ta'khud illa anna takun minna. O Kumail, do not ask for anything from anyone except from us, the Ahlul Bayt. O Kumail, you do not need to go here and there. We are here for you. Ask us, the Ahlul Bayt, and what will you get? A anna takun minna. Ask us whatever you need. Ask us, dear Ahlul Bayt, until you become one of us. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ya Kumail. We all should remember the saying of Amirul Mu'mineen. Ya Kumail, la ta'khud illa anna takun minna. Oh Kumail, do not ever ask from anyone except from us, the Ahlul Bayt. Whatever you have to take from us, the Ahlul Bayt. Our fifth Imam looked at his house, at his holy house, and then said, Ma ukhraju min hadal bayt fahuwa batil. Whichever thing does not comes out of this house is batil, is null and void. Whichever thing erupts from this house is taken, and whatever does not comes out of this house is batil, null and void. Ya Kumail, la ta'khud illa anna. Why am I saying that the saying is very important? The saying is very important in the sense that if we need an ideology, we do not need to go to here and there. We do not need to go before the deviant Sufis or the heretic philosophers for an ideology. If we need an ideology, we have to come to the doorstep of Ahle Muhammad and take an ideology of Ahle Muhammad. If we need our deen, we do not need to go here and there. If we need a deen, we have to come at the doorstep of Ahle Muhammad and take our deen from Ahle Muhammad. If we need our mazhab, we do not need to go here and there. We have to come to the doorstep of the Ahlul Bayt and take our deen from Ahle Muhammad. Our sixth Imam once said, and it is mentioned in Usul Kafi, and I in my sermon, in my khutbah, I usually recite this sentence of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, wherein he said that no believer can attain the perfection of faith and can attain the epitome of faith until he starts saying and starts practicing in this manner. What does he say? He should say, Al-qawlu minni fi jami' al-ashya'i qawlu Al Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. My say in each and every matter, my point of view in each and every matter is the point of view of Al Muhammad. My say in each and every matter is the say of Al Muhammad. Fima asarru wa ma a'lanu. Even if it is evident on me, or even if it is hidden from me, fima asarru, fima balagani anhum wa ma lam yablughani. Even if it has reached me, or even if it hasn't reached me, my point of view, my say in each and every matter is the say of Al Muhammad. My point of view in each and every matter is the matter of Al Muhammad. Now, who has the responsibility to convey the teachings of Al Muhammad so that we, the common people, should not go here and there? It is the responsibility of the pulpit. It is the responsibility of this member to convey the teachings of Al Muhammad, to only and only focus on Al Muhammad, only and only focus towards Al Muhammad, so that we do not go here and there. We practically follow that hadith. Ya Kumail, la ta'khud illa anna takun minna. Whatever you have to take it from us, the Ahlul Bayt. Whatever you have to take it from us. Hence, there are 4 verses of a poetry, and I like these verses like anything. So, beautifully explained what should be recited on this pulpit. Ya Kumail, la ta'khud illa anna takun minna. We do not need to go to Sufis and philosophers to have our religion, to have our deen. A poet says, na falsafi, na kisi falsafe ki baat karo. Na falsafi, na kisi falsafe ki baat karo. जो इस पे आओ, न फलसफा न किसी फलसफी की बात करो. जो इस पे आओ तो आले नबी की बात करो. पे बयाने हक़े अहले बैत है मिंबर. पे बयाने हक़े अहले बैत है मिंबर. जो इस पे आओ तो हक़े अली की बात करो. The narrator comes to the presence of our 10th Imam, Allamani ibn Rasulullah. He could have easily formulated a ziyarat of his own, but he came to the presence of our 10th Imam, Allamani ibn Rasulullah. Oh, the son of Rasulullah, you teach me a ziyarat. You teach me a ziyarat. You teach me what to recite when we visit your graves. And then Imam Hadi alayhi salam starts speaking about the ziyarat. And the ziyarat begins. Whenever you intend to perform the ziyarat of any ma'soom, what should you do? You should perform the ghusl ziyarat. You should bathe yourself, and then when you arrive at the doorstep, recite shahadatain, recite the testimonies. And when you recite and when you reach at the gate, at the doorstep of the shrine, say Allahu Akbar 30 times. And then start taking short steps towards the holy grave. Walk slowly and slowly towards the holy grave. And when you have taken a few steps, then again stop. And again say Allahu Akbar 30 times. And then start moving again towards the holy grave. Take small steps towards the holy grave. And when you reach near the grave, and when the grave, or in today's time, when the ghari is before you, then again stop and again say Allahu Akbar 40 times. So that the number of takbeers reaches 100. And then when you reach at the grave, when you reach the grave of the Masoom, then start saying Assalamu alaikum ya Ahla Bayt al-Nubuwwa wa Mawdi'a Risala wa Mukhtalaf al-Malaika, the entire ziyarat. But let's start our discussion with this. When you reach the gate, say Allahu Akbar. When you intend to start the ziyarat, say Allahu Akbar. Take a few steps to the holy grave, and again take a pause and say Allahu Akbar 30 times. Again starts taking a few steps towards the holy grave. Again pause for a moment and say Allahu Akbar for 40 times until this makes 100. What is the reason for us to say Allahu Akbar at the doorstep and to begin the ziyarat with Allahu Akbar? And what is the reason for this 30, 30 and 40? And what is the reason for this total 100? This is the discussion for today. Why are we saying Allahu Akbar at the doorstep of the shrine? Why then are we taking a few steps towards the holy grave and then saying Allahu Akbar again? And then while reaching the holy grave, we are saying Allahu Akbar 40 times again. Why are we saying Allahu Akbar before starting the ziyarat? As I said, Ziyaratul Jamia is based upon two important aspects, and it is based upon two major pillars. The first pillar is the pillar of Tawheed, and the second pillar is the pillar of Vilayat. Ziyaratul Jamia is fenced with the fence of Tawheed. Allahu Akbar. Ziyaratul Jamia is fenced with the fence of Tawheed. No one can enter the premises of Ziyaratul Jamia without passing through the passage of Tawheed. Without passing through the passage of Tawheed. Why am I saying this? Because this ziyarat is the ziyarat of the Ahlul Bayt. This is the ziyarat of the ziyarat. This is the ziyarat is of the ziyarat of the Ahlul Bayt. And who are the Ahlul Bayt? Ahlul Bayt are the ones about whom we recite in Dua ar-Rajabiyya. Dua ar-Rajabiyya, a very important dua again, inshallah. We will be referring to Dua ar-Rajabiyya along with Ziyaratul Jamia, because a lot of sentences match with in a very meaningful manner to Ziyaratul Jamia. Dua ar-Rajabiyya, a very important dua taught to us by Hazrat Usman ibn Sayyid Amri, Qaddasallahu ruha, the first ambassador of Imam Zaman during Ghaibat al-Sughra, during the period of minor occultation. This dua was taught to us by none other than Saheb al-Zaman, none other than the Imam of a time, and it is mentioned in Mafatihul Janan. The one who doubts, he can go and read it for himself. What do we say in this dua, Dua Rajabiyya? Why are we entering the premises of Ziyaratul Jamia while passing through the passage of Tawheed? Why are we doing this? Because these are the Ahlul Bayt. The Ahlul Bayt about whom we say in Dua Rajabiyya, فَبِهِمْ مُلِئَتْ سَمَاؤُكَ وَأَرْضُكَ حَتَّى ظَهَرَ اللَّا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ. فَبِهِمْ, I need all your attention. فَبِهِمْ مُلِئَتْ سَمَاؤُكَ وَأَرْضُكَ. حتى ظهر أن لا إله إلا أنت. Oh Allah, you have filled your heavens and your earth through them. Oh Allah, you have filled your heavens and your earth through them. Why did you fill with them? Hatta dhahara Allah ilaha illa ant. You have filled your heavens and your earth through them until it became clear that there is no God but you. Salawat Muhammad ala Muhammad. This ziyarat begins with Tawheed. This ziyarat begins with Tawheed. فَبِهِمْ مُلِئَتْ سَمَاؤُكَ وَأَرْضُكَ حَتَّى ظَهَرَ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ. When you reach at the doorstep, say Allahu Akbar 30 times. You begin your ziyarat with Allahu Akbar. You begin your ziyarat with Allahu Akbar. You commence the ziyarat with Allahu Akbar. With Allah, what else do we start with Allahu Akbar? We start our prayers with Allahu Akbar. We start our salat with Allahu Akbar. Our salat starts with Allahu Akbar. Be it the salat of the obligation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or be it the salat of the love of Ahlul Bayt. Each and every salat starts with Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. You begin with Allahu Akbar. By the what does Allahu Akbar mean? What is Allahu Akbar? What is actually Allahu Akbar? Go and read in Ma'nul Akbar. There is a narration. Our sixth Imam, Kashif al-Haqa'iq, Quran and Natak, Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salatu Imam was sitting and there was a companion of the Imam in his presence, and the companion said, Allahu Akbar. Imam looked at him and said, do you even know the meaning of the phrase you are uttering? He said, yes, Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Imam said, Allahu Akbar min ayyi shay. Allah is greater than what? He said, Allahu Akbar min kulli shay. Allah is greater than everything. Imam said, you have limited Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Welcome to the Tawheed of Ali Muhammad. Welcome to the Tawheed of Ali Muhammad. You have limited Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have limited Allah. I'm saying He is greater than everything. And you saying I have limited Allah. Imam looked at him and said, when was there anything with Allah so that Allah could be compared with it? So that Allah could be compared with it. So he said, then what does Allahu Akbar mean? Imam said, Allahu Akbar min ayn yusaf. Allah is greater than I can praise Him. Allahu Akbar. Allah is even great. Whatever I speak of Him, whatever I'm praying, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, ayn yusaf. Allah is greater. Allah is, whatever I speak for Him, Allah is greater than that. Allah is greater than that. Allah is greater. You say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar while reaching the grave. Allahu Akbar, Allah is greater. Whatever I speak of Him, I cannot truly comprehend the reality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I cannot. When we are entering the holy shrine, we are commanded to continuously say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. You reach at the doorstep, say Allahu Akbar 30 times. Take a few steps, then again say Allahu Akbar 30 times. Take a few steps, then again say Allahu Akbar 40 times. What are we doing? We are actually sealing off our hearts, our vision, our minds from the fact that our hearts cannot encompass the reality of Tawheed. Our vision cannot encompass the reality of Tawheed. I'm sealing off each and everything. Allah is even greater than I can think of. Allah is even greater than I can speak of. What are we actually doing? We are reaching towards the grave of the Ma'soom. And we are saying Allah is greater than I can think of. Allah is greater than I can speak of. What are we actually doing? We are actually providing a foundation.
Wow.
Allahu Akbar is the foundation on which the building of Ma'rifat of Muhammad and Al Muhammad stands. We are reaching the grave of the one who is the manifestation of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are saying Allah is greater than I can think of, Allah is greater than I can speak of, Allah is greater than that, Allah is greater than that, Allah is greater than that. What we are doing, we are actually professing to the fact that Allah cannot be limited. And whose grave are we moving towards? We are moving towards the grave of the Ma'soom, who is the manifestation of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are continuously reiterating the fact that Allah cannot be limited. Allah cannot be limited. Allah cannot be limited. And we are moving towards the grave of the one who is the manifestation of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are again and again reiterating that statement, Allah cannot be limited. What is this? This is in fact, we are being told that if you limit the one whose grave you are approaching to, he is the manifestation of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you limit him, it is as if you have limited Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salawat on Muhammad and it is as if you have limited. There is a very great relation with Tawheed, between Tawheed and Wilayah. A great relationship between Tawheed and Wilayah. And what is that relationship? We will be coming to that point where we say, when we start the text of Zaratul Jamia, we say in Zaratul Jamia, who are the Ahlul Bayt? Arkanan li Tawheed. There is a relationship between Allah and Al Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Wo arkanan li Tawheed. These are the pillars of Tawheed. These are the pillars of Tawheed. What does a pillar do? If you remove the pillar, the roof falls off. If you remove this pillar, then the roof of Tawheed will fall off on your head. And you will face severe consequences both in this world as well as in the hereafter. Between the Ahlul Bayt and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we ourselves, we will be discussing these points in great detail when we say in Zaratul Jamia, Man walakum faqad wala Allah, wa man aadakum faqad aada Allah, wa man ahabbakum faqad ahabba Allah, wa man abghadakum faqad abghada Allah, wa man i'tasama bikum faqad i'tasama billah, antum as-siratul aqwam, wa shuhada'u dar al-fana, wa shufa'a'u dar al-baqa, man walakum faqad wala Allah. Oh Ahl Muhammad, the one who has your wilayat, has the wilayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Man aadakum faqad aada Allah. The one who hates you has in fact hated Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Man ahabbakum faqad ahabba Allah. The one who loves you loves Allah. Wa man abghadakum faqad abghada Allah. The one who bears animosity against you has in fact animosity against Allah. Wa man i'tasama bikum faqad i'tasama billah. The one who attaches himself to you has attached himself to Allah. The one who loves you has loved Allah. The one who hates you has hated Allah. The one who attaches himself to you has attached himself. Or should I say it like this? The one who loves Aliyun Waliullah has loved La ilaha illallah. The one who attaches himself to Aliyun Waliullah has himself attached to Allah, to La ilaha illallah. The one who loves Aliyun Waliullah loves La ilaha illallah. And the one who hates Aliyun Waliullah hates La ilaha illallah. Salawat on Muhammad and Ali. who loves you loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What happens when you reach at the gate? Say Allahu Akbar 30 times. 30, 30, 40. Until it makes up the number of 100. Why this 100? And why are we reciting takbir? Again, why are we saying Allahu Akbar? When I went through different interpreters, what have they written about Ziyaratul Jamia? Salawat Muhammad ala again, Salawat Muhammad when I tried looking at the different books on the interpretation of Ziyaratul Jamia, different interpreters have given their point of view. Why do we say Allahu Akbar before Ziyaratul Jamia? And not only before Ziyaratul Jamia, if you go to any shrine, the adab of Ziyarat, the etiquettes of Ziyarat have that you have to say Allahu Akbar. Before Ziyarat Ashura, again Allahu Akbar. Ziyaratul Jamia, again Allahu Akbar. Why Allahu Akbar? What is the reason behind Allahu Akbar? I went through the different books until I saw this narration. And this narration actually revealed the fact that what is the actual reason behind saying Allahu Akbar. When the Prophet was taken to Mi'raj, to the heavenly ascension, beyond the heavens, beyond Arsh, beyond Kursi, beyond throne, when the Alam-e-Hujub started, the Alam of Hijab, the Alam of wheels, when the Alam-e-Hujub started, there was the first wheel. When the Prophet reached the first wheel, the narration tells us that when the Prophet reached Alam-e-Hujub, the Prophet recited the prayers which are recited before starting our salah. And in our salah, Takbiratul Ihram, the takbir, wajib takbir, it is mandatory for us to recite it once, but it is recommended to recite it 7 times. Why? What is the reason? When the Prophet reached there, he said Allahu Akbar, and the wheel was removed for him. Then he moved forward, reached the second wheel, Allahu Akbar, wheel was removed for him. Then he reached the third wheel, he again said Allahu Akbar, the wheel was removed for him. Each time the Prophet was saying Allahu Akbar, a wheel was removed. We are reaching towards the grave of the Caliph of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The wheels have to be removed. The wheels have to be removed, and the scholars of Irfan and self-discipline, the scholars of Gnosticism and self-discipline say that a human being, before he witnesses the supreme reality, there are in order to reach the supreme reality, a human being has to take 100 steps, and at each step there is a wheel. The Prophet said Allahu Akbar, and the wheel was removed. You read these teachings of the ulama of Irfan and Ikhlaq, the ulama of Gnosticism and self-discipline, and you understand why are we repeatedly saying Allahu Akbar before reaching the grave of the supreme reality. Allahu Akbar. Why are we saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar? So that by the time we reach the grave of the supreme divine reality, the wheels between us and the Imam are removed. So that the wheels between us and the Imam are removed. And similarly, we find that there are narrations that why should we say Allahu Akbar before the prayers? So that the 7 wheels between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are removed. So that the wheels are removed, we are continuously saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, so that the wheels between us and the Ma'asum are removed. May Allah allow us to perform a ziyarah in this manner, so that the wheels between us and the Ma'asum are removed. The wheels between us and why 30, 30 and 40? So I was looking through, I saw an interpreter, he said, his point of view was 30, 30 and 40. Only the Masoom alayhi salam knows the actual reason for this. But what he cited was that 30, the first 30, is a reference to Tawheed Af'ali. The second 30 is a reference to Tawheed Sifati. And the 40 is a perfect number. The number 40 is a reference to Tawheed Zati. Hence I said Zaratul Jamia is fenced with the fence of Tawheed. No one can enter the premises of Zaratul Jamia without passing through the passage of Tawheed. Salawat on Muhammad and And then when Imam taught him that 30, 30 and 40, you say takbir these many times, and then when you reach the grave, start saying Assalamu alaikum ya ahla baytin taquwa wa mawdi'a al-rasala wa mukhtalaf al-malaika wa mahdat al-wahyi, and then until the end of the zikr. Start saying your salams to the Ahlul Bayt. What does, yesterday also we had this discussion, that each and every ziyarat begins with this word salam. What does salam actually mean? What does salam in general, what does salam mean? Salam, most of the people, according to most of the experts of the Arabic language, say that the root word of salam is silm. And silm means peace. Hence, salam means peace, prosperity, tranquility, serenity, whatever you can translate. But does peace, safety, tranquility, serenity, but does the same salam, which we say to each other, Salamun alaikum, alaikum assalam, peace and safety be upon you, peace and safety be upon you. Does the same salam we mean when we pay our salams to the Ahlul Bayt? Do we intend the same salam? What does salam? Salam means perfection. Salam means peace. Salam means serenity. Salam means tranquility. These are the different translations of the word salam. When these meanings reach their epitome, when these meanings reach their perfection, they become salam mutlaq. And this salam is one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is salam. Allah is salam. Why? Because these meanings reach their perfection through this name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is a very interesting narration mentioned in the book Misbah Sharia. Misbah Sharia, translated as Lantern of the Path. You will find this book on Google along with its English translation. There are two opinions regarding this book. One opinion of the scholars is that a companion of Imam narrated this book directly from the Imam. Imam was speaking and the companion was writing whatever Imam was saying. And the second point of view regarding this book is that this book was in fact authored by none other than our sixth Imam. This book itself was written by our sixth Imam, and then he gifted the book to his companion. You will find, you go and read Misbah Shari, there is a very lengthy narration, but I will refer to only a part of it, wherein Imam says, and the gist of the narration is that Allah is Salam, and Allah has conferred this name of His onto His creation. Allah has granted this name to His creation. Allah is Salam, and He has granted this name to His creation. What does this mean? What does Imam mean? Wherever in this entire universe you will find peace, you will find serenity, you will find tranquility. Know that this is nothing but the manifestation of the name Salam. In the entire universe you will find the manifestations of this name Salam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is a narration which says that when the Prophet ascended for Miraj, he reached a point where he heard a voice saying, "Say Salam. Say Salam." The Prophet said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Then he heard a voice. Inni anas salam. Inni anas salam. Wa tahiyyatun wa rahmatun wa barakatun ilayka wa ila dhurriyyatika ya Muhammad. I am salam and tahiyyat, greeting and mercy and barakat are reserved for you and for your progeny, O Muhammad. I am salam. And then the narration says, a very interesting point is made in this narration. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inni ana salam, I am salam, mercy, blessings, and salutation and tahiyyat, greetings are reserved for you and your progeny, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alayhi. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered his prophet to do something very interesting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered his prophet, do not look towards your left. Do not look towards your, I am salam, greetings are for you, but do not look towards your left. Allah is ordering his prophet, do not look towards left. Do not look towards left. Do not look towards left. What does this mean? Do not look towards left implies look towards your right. This is the implication of the sentence. Do not look towards your left. Look towards your right. Look towards your right. What is right? Look towards your right. The word in the Arabic language for right is yameen. 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 Yameen means right. Look towards your right. And we say, we recite in Surah Waqia, for example, Ashabul Yameen ma Ashabul Yameen. The companions of the right. And what are the companions of the right? And we recited this verse while we were discussing the companions of Amirul Mu'mineen. In the same barga, while we were discussing the companions of Amirul Mu'mineen, what does the Quran say? وَإِنْ كَانَ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ الْيَمِينِ فَسَلَامٌ لَكَ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ الْيَمِينِ. If the one who has deceased is from the Ashab of Yameen, is from the followers of Yameen, then salam is for the one who follows Yameen. Who is a companion of Yameen? What does the word Yameen mean? Look at this word Yameen, and if you look at this word, the adad itself would tell you what is Yameen. What does Yameen actually mean? What is Yameen? You look at the adad of this word Yameen, and the word would itself tell you what is Yameen. Look towards Yameen. Continuously look towards Yameen. Look towards Yameen. What does Yameen mean? I'll tell you the adad of each and every alphabet, and the calculation is your part. Ya is 10. Meem is 40. How much? 50. Again, Ya is 10. How much? 60. Noon is 50. How much? 110. Look towards Yameen. Prophet is going on Mi'raj and Allah is ordering him, look towards Yameen. Look towards Yameen continuously. Look towards Yameen. Continuously, since you are coming to Mi'raj. What does this word mean? Yameen is 110. Ali is 110, which implies look towards Ali. Since you are coming up for Mi'raj, look towards Ali. Continuously look towards Ali. Continuously look towards Ali. You will get your Mi'raj. Continuously look towards Ali. This hadith implies that the Prophet did not witness Amirul Mu'mineen only once in the journey of Mi'raj. Continuously look towards Yameen. Continuously look towards right. Continuously look towards Yameen. Hence, Mir Anis Allah Maram, those famous lines of Mir Anis. And I have recited these lines before. But again, Mir Anis, every time you hear his kalam seems to you, and in the context of this hadith, look towards Yameen continuously. Since you are coming to Mi'raj, continuously look towards Ali. This implies that Amirul Mu'mineen, the Prophet, did not see Amirul Mu'mineen only once, but he was continuously seeing Ali. Continuously seeing Ali, and hence Mir Ali says, Sahar hui shabe Miraj ki to logon ne Jamal paak rukhe Sayyidul Bashar dekha, kaha gulamun ne humse bhi kijiye irshad, jo kuch huzur ne ya shah arsh par dekha, to har basha hue lale labe Rasool Kareem, ajeeb martaba Haidar ka arsh par dekha, wali wali ki sada thi jahan jahan pahunche, Ali Ali nazar aaye jidhar jidhar. Salawat Muhammad ala Muhammad. Since you are coming up for Miraj, look towards Yameen, look towards Ali. And if we look for the same narration, for the same word, salam, what does the word salam means in the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt? The last point. What does the word salam mean in the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt? As per the ahadith of the Ahlul Bayt. Now first try and analyze this point. This is the root word, for example. This is salam, the main word. And different words have originated from this word. For example, salim. Salim means a person who is devoid of any impurities or any defects. Salim is from this salam. Similarly, you continuously hear this word Salim, Qalb Salim, a pure heart. Qalb Salim, from the word salam. Similarly, you hear this word when you take it into Bab Tafheem, salam, to Bab Tafheem, Tasleem. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu salawat. Send your durood, send your salawat to the Prophet, but not only you are compelled to send only the salawat to the Holy Prophet, no, rather accept him as is the right of being accepted. Submit before him as is the right of being submitted to, and accept him as is the right of accepting. We are actually, when we are performing salams to the Ahlul Bayt, the salam is not an ordinary salam as we greet one another. This salam is a reflection of the station of tasleem. When we are saying Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, we are actually in the state of tasleem before Aba Abdullah. When we are saying Assalamu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, we are actually in the state of tasleem before Amir al-Mu'mineen. When we are saying, for example, Assalamu alayka ya Gharib al-Ghuraba, we are actually in the state of tasleem before our eighth Imam. What does tasleem mean? We are accepting him as is the right of accepting. We are submitting ourselves before him as is the right of submitting to. We are accepting him. We are accepting him as is the right of accepting. When we are saying Assalamu alaikum ya Ahl Bayt al-Nubuwah, we are on a position that we are actually referring to our emotions, and we are actually presenting our emotions before the Ahlul Bayt, that oh Ahlul Bayt, we are in a position of tasleem. We are accepting you. We are accepting you. We are surrendering ourselves before you. We are accepting you as is the right of accepting. We are accepting you. If someone would narrate to us any fadail of yours, we are in a position of tasleem. Leave aside rejecting those fadail. We would not even cast a single doubt on any of your fadail. Why? Because we are accepting you. We are accepting you as is the right of accepting. Each and every ziyarat, we say Assalamu alaikum or Assalamu alaika. What are we doing? We are accepting their fadail. We are accepting their merits. We are accepting their virtues. We are in a position of tasleem, acceptance. we are in a position of taslim, surrendering ourselves before the Ahlul Bayt. What does this word salam, again the last point and I would end. What does the word salam, again if you look in the glorious traditions of the Ahlul Bayt, what does the word salam mean? There is an interesting narration. And what is that narration? As far as I can remember, it is mentioned in the book Ilal al-Shara'i, again by Shaykh Saduq rahimahullah, where there is a narration by Saheb Maqamat wal Ma'arij, Babul Hawaij, Imam Musi Kadam alayhi salam. What does this word, when we send a salam to the Ahlul Bayt, what does this mean? Imam said, and the gist of the narration, I'm narrating to you the gist of the narration, the summary of the narration. Imam alayhi salam says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Rasulullah, Amirul Mu'mineen, Janab Zahra, Imamain Hasanain, the other Imams, and then He created their Shias. And then Allah took a covenant from these Shias. Again, referring to the previous Majlis which we had, yesterday's discussion, the covenant. These ziyarat are the best way to fulfill our covenant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took a covenant from these Shias. And what was this covenant? The covenant was that you would remain patient, not only remain patient, rather you would excel in patience. And what else? You not only excel in patience, but rather you would remain steadfast. Steadfast on what? It will be coming. You will be remaining steadfast and you would have the piety of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You would have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You would remain steadfast. You would remain patient. You would excel in patience. You would remain steadfast and you would have piety. With these covenants, with these pledges, what I am returning you, what Allah is granting us. Allah, we made a promise to Allah, and Allah made a promise to us. And He said, I would be giving you a blessed land. Ardul Mubarakah. I would be giving you a blessed land and a peaceful sanctuary. Haramul Amin. I would be giving you a blessed land, Ardul Mubarakah, and a peaceful sanctuary. And I would be bringing down for you the frequently visited house or Baytul Ma'mur. And you would be in a condition to witness Saqaful Marfu or the uplifted ceiling. And I would make for you this planet, the entire earth, a planet of peace, a planet of salam. Imam said, when you pay your salam to Rasulullah or the Ahlul Bayt, you are actually referring to this covenant. This is a reference to this covenant. This hadith is undoubtedly from Saheb al-Mustasar, one of the most difficult hadiths of the Ahlul Bayt. But we'll try and analyze in whatever time we have. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took a covenant from us that you will be patient, you will excel in patience, and you would be steadfast, and you would remain steadfast, and you would have piety. And we would give you Ardul Mubarakah, the blessed land. We would be granting you a peaceful sanctuary. We would be bringing down for you Baytul Ma'mur, and we would be making your visions able to see Saqaful Marfu, and the entire planet would be Salam, would be the planet of Salam. The entire earth would be the surface of Salam, of peace. Each time we say Salam to the Ahlul Bayt, we are referring to this hadith. We are referring to this covenant. What does this mean? This hadith is actually a reference to Dawlatul Ilahiyya, the government of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And who would establish that government? None other than the Imam of our time. He would establish that government. This hadith is referring to the reappearance of our Imam and the time of Raja'at, the second coming of the Masumeen. The second coming, very important hadith, I need all your attention, and I would be ending my discussion very soon. The second coming of the Ahlul Bayt. This hadith is actually a reference to the reappearance of our Imam and the second coming of the Ahlul Bayt. Raja'at. What are we getting? We are getting Ardul Mubarakah, the blessed land. The entire earth would be Ardul Mubarakah, the blessed land. And what else we are getting? We are getting a peaceful sanctuary. Haramul Amin. What is Haramul Amin? Makkah is Haramul Amin. Medina is Haram al-Amin. Najaf is a peaceful sanctuary. Tus is a peaceful sanctuary. Baqi is a peaceful sanctuary. Karbala is a peaceful sanctuary. Kazimain is a peaceful sanctuary. Samarra is a peaceful sanctuary. And the hadith is saying that Allah is promising, we would be giving you the peaceful sanctuary. The ones who are residing in Najaf, in Kazimain, in Samarra, in Karbala would be returning back. We would be giving you a peaceful sanctuary. And not only this, we would be bringing down the Baytul Ma'mur, or the frequently visited house. Baytul Ma'mur is on the fourth heaven. This hadith could imply that at that time the difference between the physical world and the metaphysical world would cease to end. At that time we would be witnessing what we were not witnessing before. Baytul Ma'mur, we would be having a connection with Baytul Ma'mur. This could be a reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised this, that we would be bringing down Baytul Ma'mur. And not only this, He has promised us that we would make you see Saqaful Marfu, or the uplifted ceiling. This is a reference to the worlds which are higher than our mortal worlds. We would be making you see Saqaful Marfu, those high worlds, those metaphysical worlds you would be witnessing at that moment. This is the general meaning of this hadith. But if we look for a deeper meaning of this hadith, what the hadith is saying, we would be bringing down Baytul Ma'mur and you would be seeing Saqaful Marfu. You won't be able to see Baytul Ma'mur. The hadith does not say that you would be seeing Baytul Ma'mur. Baytul Ma'mur would be brought down for you and you would be able to see Saqaful Marfu. Both Baytul Ma'mur and Saqaful Marfu would be present amongst you. What does this mean? What does this hadith imply? I need all your attention. What does this mean? If you look at the hadith Mufakhara, Hadith Mufakhira is a lengthy narration where Janab Amir and Janab Zahra are discussing their fadail. Ali narrates his fadail and Sayyida narrates her fadail. For example, you can go and see Kitab al-Fadail by Fadl ibn Shazan rahimahullah. He has mentioned the entire narration. It is a very lengthy narration. Janab Zahra is narrating her fadail and Amir al-Mu'mineen is narrating his fadail. Sayyida says, I am this. Ali says, I am that. And there is a very lengthy narration called as Hadith Mufakhira. Allah is promising us, He has promised us that on that day, at that time, what would happen? Baytul Ma'mur would be brought down for us and we would be able to see Saqaful Marfu. Baytul Ma'mur would be brought down for us and we would be able to see Saqaful Marfu. What is the reality of Baytul Ma'mur and what is the haqiqat of Saqaful Marfu? Go and see Hadith Mufakhira. Qalat Fatima, Ana Baytul Ma'mur, wa qala Ali, Ana Saqaful Marfu. Fatima said, I am the reality of Baytul Ma'mur, and Ali said, I am the reality of Saqaful Marfu. Allah has promised that He would be bringing down Baytul Ma'mur. And Allah has promised us that we would be able to see Saqaful Marfu. We won't be able to see Baytul Ma'mur, but we would be able to see. We won't be. The hadith does not say that you will be able to see Baytul Ma'mur. How can someone see the one who is Hijabullah? We would be bringing down Baytul Ma'mur and you would be seeing Saqful Marfu. Whatever salams we say, it is a reference to the day where Baytul Ma'mur would be brought down. And when Saqful Marfu, we would be able to see Saqful Marfu. What does this mean? This is a reference to the day when Ali and Fatima are together present on the surface of the earth. Salawat on Muhammad and again, salawat the last and final point. I am crossing the limit of my time, but because I have to end the interpretation, I'll try to end the interpretation because I have to end this word salam today so that I can start with Ahl Bayt al-Nubuwwah from tomorrow. Just the last point and I'll end my discussion. Salam. This is a reference to that day. Whenever we are saying salam, again the same meaning of taslim. Whenever we are saying salam, a very important point. Whenever we are saying salam to the Ahl Bayt, Assalamu alaikum ya Amir al-Mu'minin, Assalamu alaikum ya Gharib al-Ghuraba, Assalamu alaikum ya Abdullah, Assalamu alaikum ya Ahl Bayt al-Nubuwwah. We are actually implying that, oh Ahl Bayt, we are in a state of intizar. We are waiting for your command. We are in a state of taslim, waiting from your command. Waiting for your command. Each and every time we say salam to Ahlul Bayt, this refers to the fact that we are in a state of intizar. We are waiting for their command. Why? Because we are in a state of taslim. We are submitting ourselves before them. We are waiting for the command from whom? From Hazrat Saheb al-Amr. Ajjalallahu ta'ala each salam is a reference to Hazrat Hawaij. Each and every salam. And this is one meaning of salam in the hadith of Ahlul Bayt. I'm moving very fastly to the second narration. The second narration. Why do we say salam to the Ahlul Bayt? Go and read Mahani al-Akhbar. I'm trying to stick to the kalam of Ahlul Bayt, traditions of the Ahlul Bayt, as far as possible. Go and read Mahani al-Akhbar. You'll find an entire chapter has been created by Shaykh Sadhu. What does, when we say Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah, what does this mean? When we are saying salam to Rasulullah, go and read it. Again, it is a reference to a covenant. And the narration says that Rasulullah had taken a covenant from all of us. Allahu Akbar. Rasulullah had taken a covenant from all of us. When we say Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah, we are actually presenting our emotions before Rasulullah. That, oh Rasulullah, we are still steadfast on the covenant that you had taken from us. There are two covenants. One was the covenant taken by Allah, and the other covenant is the covenant taken by Rasulullah. One is the covenant taken by Allah, and the other covenant is the covenant taken by Rasulullah. And both of the covenants imply the same meaning. Remain steadfast. Steadfast on what? The gist, the summary of all these narrations. Remain steadfast. Steadfast on what? Remain steadfast on the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'minin. Remain steadfast on the wilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Rasulullah, Muhammadur Rasulullah is taking a covenant for Ali ibn Waliullah. Two covenants were were taken, one by Allah and the other by Rasulullah. Or should I say that what is Aliyun Waliullah? How can we try and even imagine what is Aliyun Waliullah? La ilaha illallah has also taken a covenant for Aliyun Waliullah, and Muhammadur Rasulullah has also taken a covenant for Aliyun Waliullah. Hence, the one who denies Aliyun Waliullah has denied both La ilaha illallah as well as Muhammadur Rasulullah. Sallallahu alaihi Muhammad. There is another dimension for the word salam which is present in the books of Ahlul Bayt, but I'll leave that for tomorrow inshallah. I was planning that tomorrow I would start with Ahlul Bayt and Nubuwah and end the discussion of salam here, but there is a very important point still left within the discussion of this word salam, which we will be covering tomorrow inshallah, that what is the final and ultimate reality of the word salam. And there is a very great relationship. Salam, when we are saying our salam to the Ahlul Bayt, there is a reference to Imam Zaman. And similarly, when we are saying salam to Ahlul Bayt, there is a reference to Hazrat Zahra salam. And there is a relation between the two. Inshallah, tomorrow we will be trying to cover that relationship which exists within the meaning of this word salam, and then we'll start our discussion with Ahlul Bayt al-Nubuwah wa Mawdi' al-Rasala, the ahazod of the prophecy and the location of the message of Allah. And we'll be beginning our discussion with that point. Fatima and Saheb, they have a unique relationship, as mentioned yesterday. It was Shab-e Jummah, the night associated with the Imam of our time, and today was Friday Jummah, the day associated with the Imam of our time. Yesterday, I narrated to you the Mashaib of Abul Hawaij, but today I wish to narrate an incident, and I'll start the Mashaib with this incident. Since today was Jummah, the day was Friday. There is an incident narrated to us by our scholars, and different versions of this incident exist, but I am narrating what the incident which was narrated by Sheikh Muhammad Sanab, one of the present Marajid of Najaf Ashraf. Sheikh Muhammad Sanab, he narrates this incident. He says, there was a group of visitors of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein who visited Sayyid al-Shuhada in Shab-e Jummah. Who visited Sayyid al-Shuhada in Friday night, Shab-e Jummah, and there was an orator amongst them. When he reached the bari of Hazrat Sayyid al-Shuhada, he called all the Zaireen and he started narrating the Masa'ib of Ali Akbar. Sheikh Sanad narrates that as soon as the Majlis ended and when they performed the ziyarah, and this reciter, the one who was reciting the Majlis, when he goes back to the place where he was reciting it, and he says, when I slept, I saw a light entering my room, and someone was saying, wake up, Imam Hussein is coming towards you. Sayyid al-Shuhada is coming towards you. He says, I woke up from the sleep and I saw Sayyid al-Shuhada standing before me. And Sayyid al-Shuhada looked at me and said, all your troubles, whatever troubles you have taken for coming to our Zar, all your troubles have been accepted by us. But answer me, you recited Masa'ib of Ali Akbar near my grave in Shab-e Jummah. He said, oh, the son of Rasulullah, did I narrate anything wrong? Imam Hussain said, no, you did not narrate anything wrong, but I asked you not to recite the Masa'ib of Ali Akbar, the complete Masa'ib and Shahadat of Ali Akbar near my grave on Shab-e Jummah. Why? Because my mother Fatima visits me in Shab-e Jummah. She comes to pay a visit to me in Shab-e Jummah, and she cannot bear the Masahib of Ali Akbar. Ajrakum Allah, Ja'alakum Allah min al-Baqin. She cannot bear the Masahib of Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar. Who was Ali Akbar? A single share, two lines, and these two lines have an ocean of Masahib within them. Ali Akbar. Who was Ali Akbar? There is a very senior poet in our Lucknow, Jarrar Akbar Abadi sir. He said, ऐसे ना सीने अकबर पे लगाने वाले फांस लगती है तो लैला को खबर होती है. अल्लाहु अकबर. Allahu Akbar. I'm presenting before you a scene from the books of Maqatil. From Kutub Maqatil, Allama Mazindarani narrates that there is in the battle of Siffin, while Amir al-Mu'mineen was fighting the battle of Siffin, Hazrat Muhammad Hanafiya, the young son of Amir al-Mu'mineen, he goes to the battlefield. He fights very bravely. He returns to his father and says, "Oh my father, I am fighting with this thirst. If I could get some water, if I could get a few drops of water, I would let these people know that I am the son of Ali." Remember that this is Siffin. This is not Karbala. There is no scarcity of water. The narration tells that Amir al-Mu'mineen did not only quench his thirst, but also Amir al-Mu'mineen quenches thirst, and then Amir al-Mu'mineen, what does he do? He sprinkles a few drops on his armor and sends him back to the battlefield. Muhammad Hanafiya again fights a very brave battle, and he fights very valiantly, and then he returns and says, "Oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, oh my father, I'm again thirsty. If again I could get some water, I would let these people know that I am the son of Ali." Remember that this is Siffin. This is not Karbala. There is no scarcity of water. Amir al-Mu'mineen again quenches thirst, again sprinkled a few drops on his armor, and again sends him to the battlefield. He again goes, again fights, again returns back and says, "Oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, oh my father, again I'm thirsty. If only I could get some water, I would let these people know." Again and again he is coming, asking for water. This is Siffin. This is not Karbala. There is no scarcity of water, and Amir al-Mu'mineen is continuously quenching the thirst of his young son, of his brave son, of his valiant son. I would say, "Oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, the one who quenched the thirst of Muhammad Hanafiya in the battle of Siffin, please come and visit Karbala. Here Hussein is here, and who else is here? Ali al-Akbar is returning from the battlefield and asking for a few drops of water, to quench his thirst." Try imagining the fact. God forbid, inshallah, no father should see such a day. But try imagining the fact that if there is a father and there is a young son, and the young son is hospitalized, and the son is severely ill, what would the father do? Until the last moment, the father would try his level best so that his son survives. And somehow, God forbid, if the doctors tell him that bid your farewells, say your goodbyes, your son would not be able to make it. Your son is only here for a couple of hours or for a couple of days. Try imagining the condition of that father who knows that my son is only in this world for a few hours. And try imagining the fact at that moment the son asks his father for something. What would the father do? The son is asking for something, and the father knows that my son is there only for a few hours. What would the father do? The father would go to any extent to fulfill the last wish of his son. But look towards Karbala. Hussein is there. Ali Akbar is returning from the battlefield. Hussein knows that now if my son goes, I won't be able If only I could get a few drops of water. Allahu Akbar. Hussain knows that now if Ali Akbar goes, he won't return. And the same thing happened. Hussain said, oh my son, your grandfather is waiting for you. Your thirst would be quenched within an hour. And Ali Akbar goes to the battlefield. And Hussain keeps staring at the battlefield until and unless he hears a voice, Ya Abada, alayka minna salam. Ya Abada, alayka minna salam. Oh my father, these are my final salutations. Ya Abada, alayka minna salam. Try and imagine the condition which was there in the camps of Abu Abdullah. Do you know Sayyida Zainab, when she heard this voice, when she saw Ali Akbar inside the state, what Sayyida Zainab said? She said, Ya laytani kuntu qabla hadha al-yawm amiya. If only before this day I would have lost my vision. Before seeing Ali Akbar in this day, before seeing this day, what happens when such an incident reaches? Again, try imagining the fact. What happens when such an unwanted news, when such an unexpected news reaches our homes? What happens? Do we immediately tell the parents, immediately inform the parents that your son or your daughter has encountered such and such incident, such and such thing has happened to your son or your daughter? Do we do this? We hardly do this. What do? We wait. We directly do not tell the father or the mother that such an incident has taken place. Mir Anisa Allah Maqam narrates that the similar situation was in the camps of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. No one directly, at that moment, there was no one to tell Layla, whose voice is this? Whose voice is this? Everyone was trying to hide the news. Whose voice is coming? Ya Abada, alayka minna salam. But a mother recognizes the voice of a son. No one can stop the voice of the son reaching the ears of the mother. And mother recognizes the voice of the son. And Mir Anis Allah Maqam narrates that incident. He says, सुनकर के इस्तिगासाए फर्जंद खुशकिसाल सैयद ने आह की कि हिला अर्श जुल जलाल खोले जनाब फातिमा की बेटियों ने बाल बानों पुकारी खैर तो है एली के लाल। अरे किसके पिसल से कौन सी बादल बिछड़ गई? साहब बताओ क्या मेरी गोदी उजड़ गई? साहब बताओ क्या मेरी गोदी उजड़ गई? अरे नेज़े से किसके लाल का जख्मी हुआ जिगर करते हैं किसकी लाश को पामाल अहले शर कहता है कौन रन में तड़प कर पितर पितर। अरे अब घर से मैं निकलती हूँ या सैयद अल बशर पर्दा न मुझसे कीजिए। सब जानती हूँ मैं आवाज क्या होती की मैं जाती وجعلنا